Liverpool have won their first game of this year's Champions League by beating Atletico Madrid 2-0. Lots happened. We had a manager being sent off. We had 5 goals in total. We had a £130 million player making his Liverpool debut. I'm going to talk about Isak's performance. I'm going to talk about Florian Wirtz's performance. I'm going to talk about the fact that we keep winning games at the death. This is the 5th game in a row. And with that, there will be 5 talking points. Just before we get into those, I'm Lawrence on Liverpool, a new Liverpool fan channel. I'm loving making these videos and I need you to support me. Talking point number 1, Alexander Isak started the game. I was completely thrown by that when the lineup came out. That Alexander Isak, with months out of football, hardly playing at all, not even training with the first team, having just joined Liverpool and still getting into any kind of real fitness, was thrown in at the beginning. Afterwards, Arne Slot said he's been surprised by how fit Isak has appeared in training, exceeding his expectation and therefore getting a start for Liverpool sooner than expected. Of course, his minutes were managed. 55, I think he was taken off in the 55th minute with Ekitike coming on. We're going to talk about him as well in another point. And how did Alexander look? Let me know in the comments below what you thought, but here's what I thought about Alexander. Whether he is fit or not, class shows through. Touches, control the ball brilliantly. The ability to be aware of everything that's going on around him in terms of space he can move into when collecting the ball, in terms of space he can move into when trying to give his teammates a passing option, and also in terms of where his teammates are. There was some excellent interplay between him and Florian Wirtz, which just get you extremely excited about the future with Isak and Wirtz playing off each other constantly, with Wirtz just behind Isak, because both of them are not fully fit. They're not fully adjusted to Liverpool. And once they are, that's going to be painful for the opposition and an absolute joy for us to watch. He didn't get the dream start he would have liked, Isak. He would have loved to have got a goal. But listen, he's saving it for Everton. We have Everton on Saturday. It's written. It's absolutely written in the stars. In his first game against Everton, he's going to score. And so overall, I was happy with Isak's performance. I thought he was sharp in terms of mind and thinking. Didn't quite have the power there on a couple of shots, and the accuracy wasn't there either. He's going to hone that. That's going to hone into the perfectness that we expect from Isak. We know he's an absolutely top quality striker. He's been that against us. He's been that throughout the Premier League last few seasons. There's no reason to think he won't score a bucket load of goals, at least 20 goals a season. That's what he's used to. And a few assists. So exciting. Point number 2. Ekitike. I wonder how he feels about being dropped for the first team in the Champions League opening match against a tough opponent, Atletico Madrid, for a not yet fit Alexander Isak, who hadn't even made 20 minutes appearances as a sub yet. I think it's clear now to Ekitike, if it wasn't already down to how much we paid for Isak, that Isak comes in as a first choice number 9. And I know we can say, well, lots of players are going to get rotated and it's a team sport. It is. But there will be a first choice number 9. And that first choice is clearly Alexander Isak. It's just being given straight to him before he's even fully fit. I think that's going to show Ekitike the task he has ahead of him. So the message is loud and clear to Ekitike. Fight as much as you can to get as many minutes as you can. You're not going to usurp Isak as the number 9, most likely. And so just really make sure you are in the manager's mind constantly. And so he is always confident when he needs to give Isak a rest, you are there, either coming on in games or starting games. Isak can then appear later on to take the burden off Isak. And then it's down to, it's a shootout. Who can score more goals per 90 minutes across the season? But Ekitike won't have done himself any favours with a huge miss, an absolutely huge miss. A couple of minutes after, or even a minute after Van Dijk got our winning goal, in like the 93rd minute, I think it was. The 94th minute, Ekitike is in acres of space in the penalty box on a counter-attack. Salah is down the right flank. He puts in a peach of a low cross. And Ekitike's centre, all he has to do is side foot it towards goal. And as long as it's not straight at the goalkeeper, there's a great chance it's going in. And he misses the target completely. There was shades of Darwin Nunez in there, harking back to some of the mockery and criticism from rival fans when we signed Ekitike that we had just bought Darwin Nunez 2.0. Having started the season so well with a few goals, it looked like that was absolute nonsense. The guy can be accurate. What were you talking about? We saw there a glaring miss. Now, any striker can have those misses from time to time. Hopefully, we don't see too many more of those this season. But on the night that he is dropped from the starting team for Alexander Isak, a half-fit Alexander Isak, it's not a good look to have made that miss. And then the fact that Alisson did have to make a save to secure those 3 points within 60 seconds of Ekitike missing that easy goal. If Alisson hadn't made that save, or if the Atletico Madrid player had been more lethal, we would have ended up in a draw, and all eyes would have been on Ekitike for missing that obvious goal. Point number 3, and I'm really glad to say this, Florian Wirtz is coming good. He's been way off it in pre-season and the start of the Premier League. Always looking a step behind everyone, always overplaying or underplaying his pass, kind of killing momentum, to be honest. Easily pushed off the ball, wasn't used to the speed and physicality of the Premier League. The last game he was much better. I said it in my review, my Burnley review. He had a 20-30 minute spell where he was running the play. Everything was going through him in an attacking sense, and he was threading the ball left, right, and centre. Today, he was excellent. Excellent. Now, there wasn't the end product, but he kept the ball. He was very press resistant and able to dribble away from trouble. He collected it in a very tidy way. His instant ball control really showed his ability to take the ball and turn and move into space. And then he interacted with Salah so much better than any other game so far. They're starting to build that little bit of telepathy, that bit of understanding of where Salah will be, what kind of ball he needs to be played into him. And side note, by the way, Salah, once again, the hero of our matches with those 2 early goals. I know Van Dijk got the last goal, but it's always Salah. It always will be Salah. But back to Florian Wirtz. As he gets more and more and more used to the teammates around him and the way Arne Slot wants Liverpool to play and the kinds of balls he needs to be playing with the right weight on them for the kinds of runs his teammates are making, I have no doubt he will become one of the best, if not the best, number 10s in the Premier League. No doubt at all. The talent is there. Remember, he's only 22. He's only 22. It's incredible to watch, and I think he will absolutely come good. Talking point number 4, and after we got those 2 early goals, we sat back a bit and we became a bit passive, and we didn't really press much. Certainly not in their half, but not really even in our half. We let them have the ball way too much, and we were too busy thinking about coverage in defense, right? Like trying to cover the spots that the play may move into rather than actually attacking the player on the ball to get the ball off him. And that led to their first goal. We allowed them to come back into it. Why did we do that? I don't know. Atletico Madrid are struggling in La Liga. They're not known for being the most attacking team anyway. So why did we act like they were PSG or Real Madrid in full flow? Don't want to be a hypocrite. I did say that in some of those higher scoring matches, 4-2 against Bournemouth, some of the pre-season friendlies where we were getting caught on a counter every match multiple times. I did say I wanted to see Slot bring back some more of his pragmatism from last season. But there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance, right? And this was just a little bit too defensive and passive for me. after we got those 2 goals. I think we could have kicked on and got a third. We had just kept playing how we had in the first 20 minutes of the match. But that leads us on to our 5th and final talking point, and that is Virgil van Dijk getting the goal once again in injury time. The 5th match in a row where we have won from a very, very late winner, whether it's a high-scoring game like this one with 5 goals in the game, or it's a 1-0 against a low-block Burnley, we're winning late on. Now, I worried in my last video that I might dry out. And if that dries up, getting those late winners, that luck will run out at some point. Although how much is it luck? How much is it persistence and mentality? There's a conversation to be had there, but that will change at some point. Will be a game where we don't get a late winner. How can we correct that? That's a lot to figure out. But the positive is no team can keep Liverpool down for a full match. That's amazing. That is amazing. 5 games in a row where we've won in the last 10 minutes when we've needed to. But please, boys, give us a nice, easy, simple 2-0 win against Everton, or 3-0 even. Why not? Let's make it super simple. And remember, the only way to make sure that you are getting notified of each new video I put out is to subscribe and then click that bell. You must turn that notifications on by clicking the bell, because subscribe doesn't mean you're always shown my videos. So if you want to make sure you're seeing them, that's what you need to do. And I appreciate your support. Take care. Bye-bye.